those of you listening to this on the podcast, you are in behind-the-scenes territory. August and I have been figuring out how to do some of this YouTube live stuff and record videos of the podcast to put on YouTube. So we're using a new software for the first time today. And we said, well, instead of just doing a test, let's just do it for real and see what happens.
This whole podcast is really just us kind of messing around with new things and having chats in front of an audience, right? So
I mean, that
very much
actually,
with the theme.
That kind of is the conceit of the Quarterdeck podcast. We said, we have all these conversations about technical stuff behind the scenes, so why don't we just record them while we have them? Because it kills two birds with one stone, right? It's like good content. And it's a cool way to let people in on what we do behind the scenes. And we have to have these conversations anyway, so we might as well do it. Although today is a little bit different, because today we're talking about Christmas shopping.
That is true, yeah. But yeah, so that's it's a good opportunity to test out all this software and to record a podcast at the same time, and maybe even maybe we'll figure out what to buy for the sailors in our lives, as Christmas is just around the corner. So it's really 3 birds with one stone this time. It's like a full-on bird massacre going on here.
I even have some excuse me, I have some props over my shoulder here, mostly involving Legos that we can bring up as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Yes. I see. You have your little moonlander there.
I got the moonlander, but that's not the best one. I'll save those for later. So where do you want to start, Skipper?
Well, we started talking about our favorite kind of personal gear for this, and that kind of, I guess, evolved into this idea of what to buy for sailors, what to get them for Christmas presents, and we'll definitely have some examples of that. But I think it's not a really difficult thing, because I think sailors are very, very easy to buy Christmas presents for. As sailors just need tons of stuff all the time. There's so much equipment and stash, and just like an endless amount.
Are you a gear junkie in general?
Yes, I think I am. Well, but I don't like that about myself. I try to suppress it, but no, I get really excited about gear.
In all aspects of your life, or just in sailing?
All aspects of my life.
Okay.
So no, I get super excited about whenever get kind of hooked on something new. I just love checking out fancy gear related, and that is it's a blessing and a curse of this hobby lifestyle of ours. There's sailing, is that there's just like an endless amount of stuff. And
it's like also tangential as well, because like you're into photography and film and stuff, and that's also a good gift for a sailor, because it's fun to take pictures when you're out traveling the world. So there's a lot of crossover. Gadgets, okay, have a Garmin smartwatch that you can control your autopilot with. Like, there's something for everyone, truly.
Yeah, and electronics and plumbing things and
plumbing. Oh wait, I thought we were talking gifts here. Plumbing and dehumidifiers, do those count? Those are on the practical side, I guess.
Could be a gift. Yeah, that's true. They're not great gifts. You're right.
Speaking of gifts and Christmas shopping, Mia and I, when we got married, like right after our wedding, we sailed across the Atlantic. So our wedding registry and our when we got engaged and when Mia had her bridal shower and stuff, it was all, we didn't have a wedding registry. It was like West Marine and faucets and like boat stuff. I mean, it was all boat stuff. I think I got a pair of dewberries from somebody, boots that came along on that first trip on Arcturus, and actually the clock and barometer, which is on Spica currently. I've kept them all these years. They were a wedding present from my cousin Blake, who was my best man in our wedding. And so this is like my point. It's just there's everything from practical gifts to gadgets to whatever. I think this is really fun. I'm also a gear junkie for, if it's not obvious with all the crap that's in my office here.
Yeah, no, you love your gear. That's true. And we want to buy Christmas presents for sailors, but boats need Christmas presents too. And in that case, you can extend the category even more, and definitely some good high-end oil or some plumbing parts can be very, very relevant.
So shout out to, I think it was Anton on last week's live when we did the Landfalls one. I think he prompted this idea because he asked about our favorite cold weather gear, so being that it's winter and like we do a lot of cold weather sailing. And I think that's where this idea originated for doing this episode. So shout out to Anton.
Right. Very cool. Just checking in on the live stream here, and we already have a comment from Jim, who says boat bucks make great gifts. You know what that is?
A boat buck is $1,000.
All right. There you go.
At least that's one definition of it. Yeah, I've heard that before. Boat bucks is every one boat buck is $1,000, 1,000 real dollars.
That makes a lot of sense.
Takes the pain a little bit when you say, "Oh, it was only 3 boat bucks."
It's true. a good idea. Love it. Yeah, that's always a good option. Just get people cash, right? So
I always think that like the best Christmas presents, you know, they talk about gift buying and stuff, and generally speaking, when it's like hard to buy someone a gift, you just kind of get something that you would like, and then they will probably like it as well. So August, what would you like? What is on your Christmas list from Boat Santa this year?
You know what? I actually have a good one, which is, you know, I have a little personal the EPIRB, this little personal locator beacon thing, just the size of a box of matches, and the battery has expired. And I think they last for like 10 years or something. I'm not sure if you can replace those or if you need to buy a whole new one, but that is something that I would like. I think it's an Oceans 1 PLB is the one that I have. And that is you know, just such a great thing to have. And it's a pretty good gift, actually, because it's one of those things that, like, hey, I don't want you to drown in the cold ocean. Here we go. It's a little locator beacon.
Okay, that's a good start. Very practical of you, August, to start with a personal locator beacon. That's one of those gifts that you hope you never, ever, ever have to use it.
Yeah, no, that is true. I also, one thing that I would like, which is also a little kind of more fun maybe, is I used to have one of these little keychains with an inflatable kind of life jacket thing on them. Have you seen those?
No.
They're
Wait,
like
what?
just like a life jacket. There's a little, it connects to your keys or whatever. And if they go in the water, there's a little, it reacts and it blows up a little balloon and it
No way.
floats in the water. Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
They're really cool, and they can kind of carry quite a lot of weight. I remember I got to test them out once on when I was at liveaboard. I have one of those on my keys, and I actually accidentally dropped the keys in the water, and just whoop, they came up to the surface in this big bright orange balloon. And
that is cool. I actually really like that, because like, what a fun surprise too. You're like, oh shit, there goes my keys, and then here they come.
Boing. Yeah. And because I was thinking about it the other day, because I was helping my the brother-in-law Matthias with some stuff on his boat, and so I had his keys, which has this like massive this round flotation ball of like cork stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And I was like, man, this is I couldn't quite fit them in my pocket. It's like, man, where do I go with these? And with that automatic inflation thing, you get 10 times the flotation, and doesn't take up any space. And I think you can connect them to like probably tools and all sorts of things, and phones. Adam, if you're listening, you could probably attach this to your phone lanyard. I
need a version of that for when you're aloft that would be a parachute instead. That if I drop a tool from the top of the mast, it just floats smoothly down onto the deck.
Very nice. That's pretty cool. And they'd probably work a little bit with the balloon as well, if you could get that to trigger, like boink, a big balloon on your head. Be quite nice. So what's on your list then, Andy?
Well, we'll just start. I mean, a new mast for Spica would be really nice. I don't know what Santa's budget is this year, but we talked about that on previous podcasts, so I won't really count. True. That's not a very practical Christmas present, but if I'm wishing, I would wish for that.
Very
well, it's very
as
practical.
in useful.
It's not very. not very attainable, I would say.
It's hard to fit under the tree.
It is hard to fit under the tree.
Yeah.
I guess a good Christmas. I mean, I love. I mean, you can see it over my shoulder here, like clocks and watches and stuff. So that clock behind me is a proper chronograph, like not chronograph, chronometer. That they used for celestial navigation back in the day, and I think those make a practical but also kind of nice gift to set on your desk. In the past, I would have said cannons, but we've sold out of our cannons. That's a very good sailor gift because it's a great gift and it's also quite practical, if not practical, maybe fun. But we're out of our cannons now, so something like that, like these clocks. I have an old pocket watch which is really cool that I bring to my celestial workshops and stuff. I'm not really a watch guy. Like I like the concept of watches. I think they look cool. They're fun to look at. I just don't like wearing them. I don't like having stuff on my wrists.
Right.
So a chronometer or a pocket watch is something you can like have, but you're not expected to wear it.
Yeah, that's that is quite nice. It's kind of one of these really good, beautiful, nice gifts.
Do you have like when you have a clock on a bulkhead, for example? Are you in the it should have a bell that chimes or it should be quiet?
Oh, I'm definitely in the bells category. I think that's fantastic.
I agree.
So, but that is a very controversial opinion, and there is always a debate about this because we have one on Espion that chimes that has a bell. So every half hour throughout the watches it goes ding, and some people love it, some people hate it. I let the crew that sleeps in the pilot berths closest to that clock decide whether we leave the chiming on or not, and sadly most times it is left off. So
yeah, Falcon has a ship's bell clock as well, but it hasn't worked for several years now, and I think that there is not a lot of momentum amongst the staff and crew to fix it. I think I'm the lone person who really misses that bell chiming, although I'm all the way in the back of the boat, and if I'm just kind of waking up in the morning, I can just about hear it, and if I count the bells, I can know exactly what time it is. But the folks that sleep next to it, I can understand that. But it is definitely a cool thing. I'm also in the bell camp.
Yeah, very
the thing
much
with Falcon's one is like when the clock is wound, it's you can't turn it off. I know on Eastern there's a little switch, so when the clock is wound, it's you got the bell whether you want it or not.
Yeah,
if you have the clock, you have the bell.
Do you know how this clock broke?
Falcon's clock.
Yeah. Because I have a theory that somebody might have sabotaged it in desperation and lack of sleep.
No, I don't know how it broke. It just I mean, most likely somebody winded it. That's usually what happens. But
right, yeah, that could be. Could be. No, but I think that's really cool. Even back when me and Vega was sailing this Baltic 37 around, we didn't have a nice bell clock at all, but we had a ship's 12-volt ship's computer that we ran all our navigation stuff on and the like, and we used OpenCPN for navigation, and that has a bell function. So we had OpenCPN up on our screen and had that connected to a little speaker, and that automatically does the ping.
You guys are gluttons for punishment. Wow, Well, I mean, there is a bell function on there, so other people must use it. But I imagine that's maybe not the most used of functions on OpenCPN.
Probably not. But I thought it was pretty great. But yeah, no, I'm very much a clock and watch guy. I've always worn watches. I wear this one now, which is the Garmin Quarterdeck, which is it's a modern, fancy, smart watch kind of thing, but I think it's super cool, and it's got all the boat related stuff. It's like Garmin's boat watch, and so you can connect it to the chart plotter that we have on board Espion, and I can get all of the data from the N2K networks is right on my wrist, and I think that is cool. That is really cool. And
the other end of that spectrum, do you remember the watch that I got you? I got myself, my dad, and you a matching. This is actually a really fun gift. It's if you've seen the movie The Life Aquatic. The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, the Wes Anderson movie, came out I think it's almost 20 years ago now. But Bill Murray's character he's supposed to be like an homage to Jacques Cousteau. And he's this kind of down on his luck, always running out of money expedition guy, not unlike Matt Rutherford, I guess, running these expeditions on a shoestring. But there's like, as with Wes Anderson movies, there's a ton of style through the movie, and there's like every detail in the movie is like thought about. And Bill Murray wears a watch in the movie, and the watch is never spoken about. I just happened to notice it, and I was like, that is a cool watch. And it turns out it's a real watch, but they made a special edition for the movie that you can now buy. And it's a Russian company called Vostok. It's a Vostok amphibian. And it's a manual, automatic, wind-up, wristwatch that has a little ship's wheel a ship's wheel and an anchor like on the face of the watch. And it's really interesting because it looks like it's a automatic mechanical watch. It's like a real movement, but it's really cheap. It's less than $100. And Russia back in the day was making all this technology on a shoestring, the Soviet Union. And it's waterproof, and the way the waterproofing works is quite clever. It's very simple. It's literally just a plastic crystal. So it's like a dome-shaped plastic crystal that just compresses against a rubber seal as the watch is further compressed underwater. There's no fancy gases in it. It's nothing. It's very simple, but it works. And it's a very cool-looking watch, and the reason that Bill Murray wore it in the movie is it is a cheap watch, and he wouldn't have been able to afford a fancy Rolex Submariner or whatever. So they put a Russian watch on his wrist, and they made a special face for the movie. And you can now buy online the Vostok Amphibian Zissou edition for like less than $100. So if you're into watches, it's a very unique, cool watch with a story.
Very cool. Yeah, I was very pleased with that watch. Mine did die, sadly. After
I think my dad's died as well.
Let's see. Yeah, but no, it's super cool. Really, a really sweet watch. And it's one of those things that, like, if you know about that detail, it's just like really, really cool. Because I met and interviewed the guys on aboard Belafonte and had them on the Win podcast, and they've kind of gone all in on this that whole aesthetic as well, with the little hats and Belafonte, the name, of course, of the boat and everything. And they had those same watches.
Did they?
That's
okay,
you guys.
cool.
Yeah. So
nice.
they also had figured all that out, and was able to, knew that story. So that was really, really cool.
Matt has that poster on his expedition schooner of the sort of the side view cutout of the Belafonte from the movie that shows all the cabins and all the rooms and stuff. Really cool.
Very nice.
At the risk of this becoming a podcast about watches, what is the next item on your Christmas list?
I don't think I have. We're in this great position where we just have so much boat stuff already, right? Because we have the perfect excuse to just get lots of
that's right.
Great
we need another thing. Oh, whoops, we'll just buy it.
Man,
I guess.
but I think
that is I've seen this joke. That is the joke about being an adult. It's like, well, I don't have a Christmas list because I'm an adult. I can buy stuff when I need it.
There you go. Yeah. But one thing that is really nice, which would have been on my list if I hadn't gotten it last year from you, would have been a really nice sailor's knife.
Yes.
That is something that's really, super practical, very useful, and just like a perfect gift thing. And you can engrave it, right? And
scrimshaw it. That's the way to do. So what we did with Meyerschen are my favorite rigging knives. They're like traditionally made. You can get them with a bone handle, and you can have the whole point they make a bone handled version is so that you can have it scrimshawed. And the one I gave you, I bought. I think we bought like 10 or 12 of them. Sent them to this guy we met in New England. We found him on Etsy, and he's like a scrimshaw artist, and he scrimshawed the boat names. I have one for Spica. You have one for, I guess it says Eastbjorn on it. Ryan Finstad got one with his last name on it. That's a really cool idea. And again, not that expensive. These Meyerschen rigging knives are like $120 maybe for a folding rigging knife with a folding marlin spike on them. Really, really nice. They make a fixed blade version as well that I have. That I got that one scrimshawed in the Azores by a woman scrimshaw artist there. That's where kind of scrimshaw started in like the whaling fleet in the Azores back in the day.
Yeah, very cool.
That
is a nice gift.
I think. Did you have more to say about knives?
No, I think that's it. You know, there's always the kind of life jacket, tether cutting knives as well, which is maybe like more of a safety thing, but could also be if somebody has tons of knives, maybe you could get them. If somebody is looking for an excuse just to get another knife, that might be something.
One thing that I love for gifts for anybody, but for sailors especially, is not just books, but specifically used books. There's so many good old school sailing books out there, and there's now that you can find these used bookstores online. What we started doing at 59 North is we buy books for all the staff, like a used book for all the staff every year. And I mean, I have all this stuff in my office, but what I have the most of is, besides Legos, is books. And I would say 2 examples from my shelf: the updated version of the World Cruising Routes. This is one you could buy new, because this is a great planning tool. I actually use this often when we're planning our schedules on Falcon, particularly now being in the Pacific. I don't know the weather patterns as much as I know the Atlantic. So World Cruising Routes, every sailor needs to have a copy of this somewhere. But then I'm just going to pick randomly off of here. This one's really fun. For people that like doing their own sort of DIY work, this is Ferenc Mate's. It's called The Finely Fitted Yacht. And
oh, yeah.
This is just little, and Ferenc Mate, if you're not familiar with that name, I'm sure I'm butchering it, French or Dutch or whatever it is. He has those books called The World's Best Sailboats. He's got 2 or 3 editions. It's basically a coffee table book that goes through like his favorite designs. It's so good, and it's 1 page written up about it. But the way he writes is very sort of tongue-in-cheek and fun. And all this book is divided up into sections with little fun kind of improvements you can make to your boat. Like this, okay, here's a bookshelf fiddle, for example.
All right.
They're usually simple
nice.
Simple carpentry projects. They're divided up into sections. Some of them are just fun. Some are useful. Some are, like, here's one on how to build a Dorade box, for example. They're accompanied by 1 or 2 pages of text, but it's also written in such a way that like he just assumes you're like a genius carpenter, and it's like, oh, this will be easy, just do this. So it's a fun like wintry read to come up with like good ideas for your boat, and they're all things that apply to classic boats and modern boats. Usually small little things, detail things made of teak or whatever, stuff like that. I mean, here's a boat cushion one. There's a little 4-peak desk conversion. This is one I actually tried to do on Arcturus once. You remove the bunk and you make it build a desk into the. This is a little more on the advanced side. Sweet,
very cool.
But this is a great, and you can find this used. I'm sure it's called the Finely Fitted Yacht. I mean, I think we could have. This is volumes 1 and 2. I think we could have done an entire podcast on books, like sailing books as gifts. Probably one there. I'll see. Well, while we're on this topic, I'm just going to pull another random one off my shelf here. That is a good gift idea. This one's actually really, really great. This is not as old, but this was given. You have a copy of this as well. This was given to me by Emma, called Reading the Glass. Yeah. Captain's view of weather, water, and life on ships. And Elliot Rappaport was Emma's captain on the tall ship she was on for sea semester, I think. And it's a really, really great combination of, there you go, sea stories, and you can learn a lot about weather in that book. So that's a really, really, really well-written, good book. And I think Emma got us one, maybe one for each boat as well. So that's shout out to Emma for giving a good gift there. And you can never have too many books.
That is true.
Do you reread books?
Yeah, quite often. I especially, I haven't read. I have to admit, I haven't read a physical book in many years. I always listen on to audiobooks now, because I just have so much crap to do, and by listening to audiobooks, I can do stuff and kind of read a book at the same time.
This goes back to our conversation about how the parts of your brain, like when we talked about writing and thinking and speaking, and a couple podcasts ago, you said the people that sever the hemispheres have two, it's like 2 different subconsciouses, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, that's way out of context. You'll have to go back and listen to that conversation, severing hemispheres and stuff. But it's interesting. You're right. You can listen to an audiobook and do something else. I mean, that's, if you want to get technical, like what we're doing right now. If anybody's actually watching this video, they are fully engaged. You can't do it when you watch a video. You have to. It's actively passive, right? So you're actively watching it, but you're not participating in it. A video game is actively active. For you to experience it, you have to engage with it, right? That's actively active. Audio is passively passive because you can listen to it while you're doing something else. So that applies to podcasts, audiobooks, whatever. But my point with this is I struggle with listening to audiobooks because my mind wanders. I can't focus. So I actually I listen to podcasts a lot, but when I read, I have to read. I have to read or I lose it. I just lose track of it.
Right. That does happen to me too, but it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing just absolutely kind of completely brain dead stuff, like doing dishes or putting up laundry or whatever, then I can listen to audiobooks and be completely immersed. But then you do stuff like like carpentry project or whatever, like just working on things that require you to like count at least sometimes, and then I tend to lose the thread a little bit. But that's when it's perfect to re-listen to audiobooks that you have actually. So if you just zone out for a minute or something, you can just go right back into it. So
that makes sense.
That's also a cool gift idea. You could get people audiobooks or a like an Audible subscription thing could be a nice thing.
On that same note, I think a good boat gift, I guess most people have this already, but like a really nice Bluetooth speaker is a great boat gift because like you don't need, Spica has like a built-in stereo. A lot of boats have built-in stereo. You don't need that anymore. But I also don't like, a lot of crews show up with these little rinky-dink keychain Bluetooth speakers that just basically sounds like you're listening to it on a phone. I'm talking about like a proper, good quality speaker that you can play music on, that you can put in the cabin and recharge and play it down there. You can put it in the cockpit. Maybe not necessarily waterproof, but something you can put under the Dodger. We have a big one on Falcon. It's actually like some relation to Bob Marley. It's called like a something Get Together XL is what it's called. It's a really nice speaker, and it is somewhat waterproof, but you can put it under the Dodger. It's proper loud. We listen to many a sea shanty going across the ocean on Falcon with that thing.
That's a great idea.
And it's some relation to Bob Marley started this company or was involved in this, and it's cool. It's like a bamboo case, but a high quality. Well, it wasn't cheap, but it's like get what you pay for.
Very cool. Yeah. I like what you did with your office shelf there. I think maybe I'll do the same and just see if we can get some. I see some good gift suggestions behind me as well.
Okay.
We have a couple of binoculars here. That's a really nice gift.
Yes.
So these are, just standard kind of marine binoculars. One thing actually that if I had friends and family with lots of money, I would wish for a stabilized binocular. I know Canon makes these binoculars that are usually like press a little button and it stabilizes, so you can you could do stargazing in a storm but bouncing around and you would just look, everything would be perfectly stable.
That technology blows my mind. That
crazy
that it can do that.
Yeah, and and these things are talking. If you love gear, you should go ahead and look up these binoculars because they're like smart binoculars as well. So you can look at something, and say you see a ship right on the horizon, and you can look at it, and you can just kind of click a button, and it tags it, and then you hand the binocular over to the next person or the skipper, like, hey, take a look at this. This is weird. They grab the binocular and they get a little arrow in their field of view pointing to where that thing that was. Yeah.
Wow.
Really cool.
Does it
really
like
cool.
active, like will it put a target over it so you know when you're on it?
Yeah.
That is wild. I think
really
I
cool.
might need to have that.
Yeah. And for stargazing or whatever, like, oh, there's Jupiter here, take a look. And then it just points to them directly.
So this is a Canon product, you said?
Yes, I know for sure that Canon makes them, but it probably exists with other things as well.
Do you have? Well, I mean, maybe that answered the question, but do you have like a binocular brand that you like?
I have multiple ones. Celestron makes some really good binoculars. I have some just ridiculous binoculars that are just
well, you're kind of like a telescope nerd
long.
as well, right?
I am. Yes, I am. So those are really nice. I think for boats, I think the Steina ones are probably the nicest ones.
I was actually gifted a pair of Steiners for doing a delivery once a long time ago. One of the first deliveries I ever did. I wasn't the captain. I was just a deckhand, and the owner gifted me a pair of Steiner binoculars that are still on Spica to this day. That delivery was probably from 2006.
Oh,
something
nice.
like that. No, it was later than that, 9 maybe. But yeah, those are good.
Those are really good. Yeah.
The ones I think behind you, those were Weems and Plath, which they gave to us back in the day.
That's
I
right.
believe
Yeah.
those ones are a little worse for wear. They've been out at sea for a while.
Yeah,
but, they're good quality.
have a little. They're very good.
Little patina on there.
Little patina. That's right.
What about? So I want to get Axel on this same topic. He's into pirates and stuff like that. I want to get him like a kid's kind of spyglass, like an old timey like retractable, but one that's not just a shitty toy, but that's also not gonna, if he drops it overboard, I'm not gonna lose my mortgage over it. Do you like? Does that exist? Is that a thing? I'm sure I can find it, but do you know of anything off the top of your head?
No. I think it'd probably be like a novelty thing.
Yeah.
Like with a pirate theme branding or something like that. But
do you know the history? Like, how did we go from a spyglass to binoculars, and why did it start? I guess it's just easier to make a spyglass because it's a single lens, or what's the history there?
It's aligning the two views required very, very accurate machining. And to get the two aligned. Even like I bought a new pair of binoculars for Espion recently, and they came back and they were not aligned properly, so I had to send them back.
How do you know if they're not aligned?
You will go a little cross-eyed when you look through them. So yeah, you notice it right away. But it's that part making two, because if you do a spyglass one like with just one eye. You grind the mirrors and the glass and like whatever magnification you get, that's what you get. That's great. But if you do a binoculars, the two have to be exactly identical for it to not completely mess you up. So that was the challenge. And but that's a really great gift. I also see in my shelf behind me here, there's a camera, like you mentioned. Cameras are really nice. Oh, here we go. It's a water pump. I got this. This was a gift from you, Andy, for last week.
That is true.
That is very nice.
On the topic of cameras, I don't know. Do I have it here? Hang on. Burn some air for a second. I think I have it here. Hold on.
Cool. I'll keep going through my my shelf here. This is actually something that I think makes a great gift, which is a head torch. I actually suffer from a severe case of chronic head torch.
Head torch.
We're in the a seasonal. It's a seasonal illness. Like the dark months over here, I wear headlamps all the time, and Colina is making fun of me for it because I quite often just walk around with it, like go to the store and stuff, and I just forget that I have my headlamp on, and I forget that I have my headlamp off, and if I go down to the dark shelf or something, my finger reaches up to my forehead just to start the headlamp, and it's not there. So
that is freaking hilarious, and that is actually, if anybody's still listening to this episode, that is probably the first and best gift, most practical gift that's come up so far.
It's a very, very good thing. And I have a specific recommendation for a LED lenser headlamp. I've owned many over the years, and because you're out there working, right, and you're digging through stuff, and it's rain, it's cold, and they tend to die. But the LED lensers are really, really good. That's my favorite.
Is that rechargeable? Because I think anything that's like, if you've got batteries in a headlamp nowadays, it's like no bueno.
Yeah, it is rechargeable. Yeah. Yes. So that is super nice.
So on the camera side of things, I'm back in the old school days here again. But I think like anybody, you'd have to be a real camera nerd to appreciate this. But I bought this for myself a long time ago when I was like trying to be Moy Tessier. I was obsessed with all that old school stuff, and I loved it. I wanted all the anti-technology. But this is a
Oh, look at that. Yes.
This is a Nikonos. This is like show and tell. This is a Nikonos 5. It's a film 35 millimeter underwater camera. Moitessier had, I think, the version 3 of this. Jacques Cousteau had a hand in inventing this camera. They made a 6, which was an SLR actually, but this is just a rangefinder camera that works. It's fully waterproof, fully submersible, and actually this is the 35 millimeter normal lens that's on it now. This works above and below water, but some of the other lenses for this only work underwater because they require the refraction of the water on the lens to properly focus. But this camera is really fun. It's bulletproof, and it just takes, people want to put some cool old grainy photos on their Instagram. Take a shoot a roll with this at sea and get it developed and put on digitally, and this is unique. And you can find these and stuff on eBay. I've had this forever. Axel likes playing with it out in my office and pretending with it. So that's my camera suggestion. Very impractical, much more of a gift. Also looks cool on the shelf,
Very cool. I remember you had that on Ice Bear when we went sailing together for the first time back in up in Canada in 2019.
Yeah, so, I guess I would have.
Yeah. That was. I played around with it. I think I took a few shots with it. It is very, very cool.
Another semi-practical. This is much more practical gift. I actually like. I don't know if this is just me or I feel like other people do this. I really like collecting like hats, like winter hats. From various places I've been. I have a stack. I mean, we're getting ready to move next spring. And I have like a stack of hats that are in and I don't wear any of them, but I feel like if you're going to collect anything, they don't take up any space. They remind me of places I've been. Like I have one wool hat from Fair Isle. It's a Fair Isle wool. That's like where Shackleton got outfitted and stuff. And I didn't, the sweaters were like $500, but they had knit hats. So I got a Fair Isle wool hat. I don't think I've ever worn it, but it's in my closet. But this hat, I found a new favorite hat, and of course it's Helly Hansen. I mean, we use everything from Helly Hansen, but this is still available on the website. It is specifically called the Helly Hansen, the HH Box Beanie, and they have several different colors, but it's really thick and warm. And I have like a gigantic head, and this actually fits like over my head and ears down to my eyebrows, and it's not constantly sliding up. This is the best hat I've ever owned. So the Helly Hansen box, the HH Box Beanie, I can highly recommend that, and you can buy it on their website. That's my practical recommendation.
I can confirm that you look very good in that hat, Andy. It's a nice look, and easy to find you as well.
With my giant head, you mean?
Yes.
But like I collect, like I have hats from ski areas. I have the two years the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I've got my Eagles Super Bowl hats. I've got a couple knit hats that Mia's mom made for us. They made in the Winter Olympics like years ago when we first met. This team Sweden had a really cool like Swedish flag color knit hat, and Mia's mom made us each like a replica of that Olympic team Sweden hat, which was cool. So cool. I'm into hats. I think hats are good gifts.
Hats are great gifts, yes, and they can be very personalized and very useful as well. So I second that. I see some more suggestions on my shelf just behind me here. We got some thermal mugs, some thermos mugs. That can be a really nice gift. You can reach out to me. I have a couple of extras that we couldn't fit on Eastbeyond, so just let me know if you want one. And I also see actually, I think on the top here, this is an action camera. That's pretty cool. This is the Garmin 360 one.
Oh yeah, they don't make that anymore.
No, that's discontinued, sadly. But you could get a GoPro. And here, actually, check this out. This is a telescope. Kind of a spyglass, which you are looking for, but it's it's a modern one, so it's not quite. It's very good to look at boats out on the fjord here. It looks like this.
That's so literally looks like half a binocular.
Yeah, that's right. that is what it is.
Oh, so, that's cool.
That's cool, but not. The magnification is way too high to be able to use on a boat. But
so, I have two. I wish I had the third one because I have three very impractical, especially if you live on a boat, but extremely cool gifts for nerdy sailors. One of which was from you. The first one here. This is my Lego collection here. My collection of unbuilt Legos. This is the Lego lighthouse that you got for me for my 40th birthday.
That's right.
And it's motorized, and it's like one of these things where it's like It's like a really good piece of candy that I'm just saving because I don't want to eat it because I know that once I build it, it's going to be, the building it's the fun part. So that's one. Another one that's unbuilt that I have inside is the Jaws set. It's the orca, the boat, plus the shark. I have that in the house. That's not built yet. And this right here, this is probably the best sailor gift of all. I'm going to put the mic down for a second because I need 2 hands to pick this up.
This is going to be massive. Oh, yes. Look at that.
This is, get my head over this. The Endurance, Shackleton's very ship here. They actually, I like it. I can't believe that Lego did this. Like when this came out, I saw this. I texted you, probably you and Ryan Ellison, who's also into Legos. I'm like, just take my money. Like, take my money right now. Like, I can't. Are you kidding? I have to have that.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. You would think that would be kind of a niche thing.
That's what I mean. Like, how can enough people want who even knows who Shackleton is these days? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, speaking of Legos as gifts, I actually got, when I lived on a boat, I don't know how my parents did this. We lived on a 36-foot ketch with 2 cats. When I was 9, my sister was 7. It's that Bahamas trip. I've talked about this many times before. We cruised to the Bahamas for the year. When we had Christmas in the Bahamas, and somehow they managed to smuggle aboard Christmas presents and hide them from us, during this 9-month trip. So we get to Nassau and we went to Junkanoo and did all that, but we opened presents, and my parents actually got me one of the original Lego pirate ships, which is like not as big as the Shackleton set, but it's a pretty big set that I had on the boat. And like, I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, that's like the worst possible live aboard boat gift, but it was like, I mean, I remember it to this day. It was the best Christmas gift I ever got. It was so cool.
Wow. That is neat. Well, I think those classic Lego pirate ship, don't they go for like proper collector's items now?
Like over $1,000 on eBay and stuff if you have an unopened one. But I don't understand why you would never open it. I mean, I get the Lego collectible thing, but come on, that's insane.
Yeah, you gotta build them. That's true.
I do. When you build Legos, do you save the boxes and the packaging?
I haven't built Legos in a while, but I do have, when I was younger, we had tons of Legos. And so I have in my garage, there is an enormous box of Legos. And my parents put all of the instructions into a binder. So
cool.
They're all in there. And so, yeah, I am very excited to open them up. And I'm gonna.
But you have all the pieces are mixed, nothing segregated now. So.
Oh yeah, no, it's just a giant chest of pieces. So it's gonna be quite the adventure to find everything. But yeah, that's something I want to do that with my boys when they're a little older and have a little bit more patience.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll.
What's fun now, though, what Axel and I do is he builds the random box of Legos, and then I'll build one of my sets, and we'll kind of build next to each other. And that works really well because he can build and unbuild and wreck his as much as he wants, but I still get to build my adult sets and engage with him in a way. And he'll sometimes help and flip through the directions stuff. But I save all the boxes and the directions, and I have ideas that, like, when he gets older, I will dismantle some of the bigger sets that I've bought for myself, repackage them, and then re-gift them to him, and then we'll build them together again with all the right pieces and stuff. That's my vision for this. Yeah,
that sounds very nice. Yeah, you're doing it properly. My Legos are just in an absolute mess. So
I mean, my childhood Legos are also like that, but now my adult Legos, I'm trying to keep a little more organized.
Yeah,
I have a big problem with this, because this container office is not following us to the new house. So we have an office in the house that I'm going to have, but it's not as big as this. And lots of my Legos are out here. I've got this container ship over here. I've got the Beatles Yellow Submarine. I've got Shackleton's little lifeboat came as a bonus set with this that's built. I've got another pirate set over here. So I'm like having to negotiate with Mia. Mia, she supports my Lego hobby, or at least maybe doesn't actively support it, but maybe doesn't actively undermine it either. But I'm having to negotiate with which of and how many of my sets can I display in the house, not just in my office, but actually in the house.
Right,
I would argue these are works of art. I mean, look at this Moonlander over my shoulder here. I mean, who wouldn't want that on their mantle?
It looks really good. Yeah, it looks really good. But it's interior decoration can be people can have some strong opinions in many different ways about that. So
one thing though, when we looked at the new house we're buying, when we did the viewing, there were some Lego sets displayed around the house, and I was like, we found the right place. This is serendipity. This is meant to be.
That's when you signed the papers.
Yep.
That was your little omen.
These are my kind of people.
Very nice.
Another one that I can see over your shoulder, which I think is underrated, is a globe. I love globes, and that is a great gift because a globe is a hard thing to like justify buying for yourself because they're often a nice globe is pretty expensive. But like when you have them, they're so fun to look at, and you like I have the map of the world over here, which is great, but a globe just puts it in the real context. You get to see it for what it is instead of this abstract distortion of what it is. So I think a nice globe makes a really nice gift, and I would suggest like maybe a desktop size globe, not a parlor globe. Although that being said, have you seen the? I was just listening to a movie podcast about this the other day. I think it was Austin Powers, maybe, where they had a globe that opened up into a little mini bar with your bottles of booze and scotch and stuff in there. If you have a big house, maybe that's the right version of the globe.
That would have been so cool. Yeah. No, I'm absolutely agree. I think globes are fantastic, and it's one of the things that you can just sit and look at forever. So yeah.
Do your boys look at globes with you?
I don't think I've ever showed them the globes.
You got to introduce it.
I really should.
Axel loves his globe. We look at it every night before bed. It was really cute. One of his preschool teachers is from Jordan, the country Jordan, and she was showing him pictures of where she's from on her phone the other day. And then Axel came home and wanted to see where is Jordan on the globe, and Mia showed him on the globe where Jordan is.
Oh, very cool.
Axel knows. Like I should have had you quiz him. He knows where Cape Horn is. He knows where the Caribbean is. He knows where Mia and I met in New Zealand. Like he could say, "Oh, where's Cape Horn?" and he'll show you right on the globe.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'll do that today. That sounds really, really fun. I second that. I love globes. I think they're great. And what's cool, like for like somebody like me who obviously have tons of globes already, as you can see, is you can also get globes for different planets and the moon. And the celestial sphere, right? You can get all sorts of globes.
The celestial sphere globe is probably my favorite version of it. That is cool, man.
Yeah, that would be I should put that on my list actually. That would be really cool to have. That'd be nice. So,
can you just explain what that is? A celestial sphere globe, because that's a concept that I guess many people may not have ever heard of.
Yeah, sure thing. It's it is a globe. Sometimes it's transparent, which kind of brings the concept through a little better. And that's
what I've seen. That the ones I've seen have been transparent.
Yeah. So then you can just imagine a transparent globe with stars on it, and then you can kind of imagine the Earth being at the center of this see-through globe. And so what you're looking at is how the night sky looks from the Earth. And then as you spin it, you are kind of simulating the rotation of the Earth, and so you can kind of see how the where the stars are located. Where is Polaris? Where is the different constellations in reference to the Earth? And sometimes you'll have like the plane of the ecliptic on the globe as well, so you can see, all right, which stars can you see from the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, and where's the planets, where's the orbits of the planets on there. And
it also it very clearly demonstrates, like when we talk about in celestial navigation, stars have a fixed latitude on Earth. It's hard to envision what we mean by that, because like the sun's latitude drifts north and south, the planets and the moon drifts, but the stars, being that the celestial sphere and the Earth, the terrestrial sphere, share an equator, that you can very clearly visualize why a star is always at the same latitude when you look at this and spin this around in your hand. It's a really cool. This actually reminds me, if you had a really big house, a really neat collection to have would be to have various models and maps showing all of our different interpretations of reality of the solar system. I'm thinking of like, okay, you have a Mercator projection map of the globe, then a map of the world. Then you have the globe. Then you have the celestial sphere, which is like not actually reality because the stars aren't all in the same plane.
Yeah.
And I'm even thinking of there's some really intricate and very complex models of the flat Earth theory, like how the star so then you'd have that in this collection as well, a flat Earth model that shows like, well, this is if you believe the Earth's flat and you can see the movement of the stars and planets, they basically there's a model that shows you how that could be possible. And I just think that would be a really neat. I guess maybe there's a museum of this. There must be somewhere, but maybe this is better of a museum exhibit than something you have in your house. But that occurred to me. That'd be really neat to see all that stuff lined up next to each other.
That would be really cool. Yeah. And there's all, historically, right, too, there's all sorts of weird ways you could represent. I forget the names of all these old school astronomers, but they kind of made models for how the solar system would work with the Earth in the middle, for instance, where all the planets would do like circles on their orbits, and kind of made all the math work, which is really, really crazy. But yeah, no, that'd be quite fun.
What else are we missing here? I feel like I'm into strange territory now with the model of the flat Earth as a gift idea.
Yeah, I think I think we've come with quite a few things. I have a couple of things now to add to my list, so that's
there you go.
That's pretty neat. And this was really cool.
Those of you that caught some of this live, thanks for joining us for the experiment. Those of you listening to this on the podcast, there is a video version of this on YouTube that you can also see. You can see our show and tell here a little bit. And this was fun. Thanks, August.
Very, very cool. Yeah, thank you, Andy. We'll see you again next week on maybe again here or maybe on some other platform. We'll see.
Okay. Until then, hold fast.
Hold fast.